Yeah, I have this, and
Mm.
this is also Sophia.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Oh,
the logo is Sophia,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I also have Georgia.
Oh, I started recording now, and yeah, you can
Okay.
talk free. It's a like a freestyle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
and so you, how long have you studied in Sophia University?
Um, like from September,
うん。
9月から3月まで、
あ、
今年3月まで。
半年間、6 months.
Mm, mm.
Wow.
But because of Corona, I had to
あ、
come back to the UK.
I see. So
Yeah.
you planned to study more in Sophia University.
Maybe like from next year September, I plan to maybe go back because I miss Tokyo. I miss Tokyo so much.
You like Tokyo?
Yeah, Tokyo was so cool. I miss the food. Like, I miss ramen. I miss izukaya. I miss karaoke. Um, I miss like Shibuya at like 6 p.m. when everybody's drunk at 6 p.m. Um,
Yeah.
I miss everything about Tokyo, and I really want to go back.
Yeah. Nice, nice. You live in London now.
Yeah. I live in London.
I went to London once, 10 years
Oh,
ago.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where
Uh,
did you go?
some tourist spots mm, like Buckingham Palace and
Yeah.
Oxford Street.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, such famous places in London.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think all tourist people go to these places. Everybody goes to these places in London.
yeah,
But I like it. They're nice, like interesting places. Like it's very different to Japan because Japan has like old, uh, like shrines and like old buildings, but
yeah.
they don't really have like Buckingham Palace is like
Mm.
the Queen's house where you can go and see, and Big Ben is like famous clock. Like Japan doesn't have things like that, so I can see why people like to go.
Yeah, yeah. So you went to Sophia University, and so did you make many Japanese friends?
Yes, I made many Japanese friends. I lived in Sophia accommodation, so they just opened an accommodation called Sophia Arupe. So we were like the first students to ever live in the building.
Oh,
It was
dormitory.
opposite to I always forget the place. Oh my gosh, it's a famous place.
In Sophia
It's like a
University.
no, it's like a Buddhist religious like cult.
Temple.
It's not a temple. It's oh, I can't remember the name. I always forget. But it was kind of cool living with. So everybody that we lived with was from Sophia. So it was kind of cool like to make Japanese friends. Like living together in the whole place. But I never spoke Japanese much because everybody spoke English.
Oh.
So it was also to manage to speak Japanese. It was really, really hard for me to manage to speak. So
Yeah, Japanese language is difficult.
yeah and no. For me, I don't feel like it's super difficult. Because I feel like you have to like understand why like Japanese use some of the language they use. So like for example, in Japanese you have like des, mas, you have keigo,
Yeah.
different types of form. But English, we don't have any of this. So sometimes it's hard for English speaker or maybe even Japanese speaker when you learn English to understand, oh, why don't I use different forms of words? I just use the same word for everything.
Yeah, right.
But then if you research, you'll see that there's a lot of things in Japanese that English uses, and a lot of things in English that Japanese uses. So it just takes some time to research and understand, and then I think it's easier to kind of recognize them.
Yeah, we imported many words from English.
Yes,
Yeah.
Japanese imports a lot of words from English. I can never understand why. Sometimes I'll be like, because when I was starting to learn Japanese, I'll be like, okay, let me research the Japanese word for orange, for example. Like, what's the Japanese word for orange? And it's like orangey. And I'm like, why? Why is it the English word? Like, why is it an English word?
Yeah, mikan, it's Japanese. Yeah, but we use orange, orangey.
Yeah, like you changed it to the English word. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit harder for us, I think. Because sometimes, especially like if you're reading katakana, like a lot when we get taught to read katakana, they teach us that most katakana words are English words.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just if you read it, you can recognize it because it's an English word. But some of them are not English words. Some of them are like French words or Spanish words. So sometimes when you read it, I'm like, I should understand what this means, but I don't. So sometimes it's a bit confusing in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, and we change the pronunciation.
Yes, a lot.
Same meaning, same words, but different pronunciation. Yeah. So maybe you feel difficulty, you yeah, to understand such words.
Yeah, in the beginning when I started, it was difficult, but now it's not so much difficult. It's difficult to understand sometimes because Japanese people speak really fast.
Oh, really? Oh, I see.
Yeah,
It's very interesting to hear that because I feel British and American people speak very fast in English.
Really?
Yeah, very fast for me. So, yeah, for Japanese people, yeah, we feel very fast. So,
do I speak fast?
you, yeah, for me, yeah. My English poor, so yeah.
No, your English is good.
Thank you.
It's good. It's fine.
Thank
It's
you.
fine.
Do you speak English not fast now? It's is it usual?
No. This is how I normally speak. I felt like a lot of Japanese people, because maybe some of them haven't traveled to like England. A lot of them travel to like America if they travel to English speaking countries. But a lot of people haven't traveled to England, or if they have, they only go to London. So they don't know that England has a lot of different dialects. We have many. We're like Japan. We have many different dialects. We probably have more than Japan does. So not everybody speaks the same type of English that I speak. So if you go to Manchester, they speak a different dialect. If you go to Scotland, I probably don't understand a Scottish person speaking. I maybe have to listen closely. If you go to Wales, they speak a different type. Ireland speak. I would never be able to understand Irish people. So people don't realize, but there's a lot of different dialects of English to learn.
I see.
I think.
Yeah, I heard there is a great variety, diversity in Britain. Yeah, so yeah, and even in England, there are some dialect and accent.
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. Okay, my question: how did you learn English then? Like, did you learn from Japanese, like university, or?
Yeah, school, and we started learning English at since we junior high school, and and I learned in university as well, and I continued learning English after graduation. I take English lessons sometimes, and I, I went to New York for 6 months. I stayed there for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to English language school in New York for 3 months.
And how do you think English? Do you find English to be like, how difficult is English for you?
The pronunciation is very difficult for me. Yeah, pronunciation and grammar. Yeah, they are very different from Japanese language. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but we study reading and writing so much in school. So I can we can write and read English to some extent, but it is difficult to speak and listen for Japanese people.
I think that's the problem with like every like learning languages everywhere, because when I was learning Japanese at Georgie, every day we have tests, kanji tests or writing test or grammar test every day. And I was like, but the most important thing is to speak and to listen, because that's why I want to learn the language. I want to speak to people. Like, I'm not going to write a letter in Japanese. I'm never going to do that. So I think that's really important. And that's why I do like YouTube in Japanese to try practice speaking, and to kind of show people that you don't have to be afraid, because my Japanese is not perfect. Like, I make mistakes, and like, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
If you make mistakes, it's fine. A lot of Japanese people tell me, oh, but my accent is bad. They're like, ego ga hetta. And I'm like, no, like, you can speak, you're fine. Like, as long as you can speak and I can understand, it's fine. But an opposite thing as well, if I speak to a Japanese person and I'm like, for example, I'll be like, hajimemashite, Shaq desu. They're like, oh, Nihongo ga jozu. And I'm like, I just said, hello, my name is Shaq. Like, I said two things. So it's interesting to see the difference.
Yeah, because not many foreigners speak Japanese, so it is rare that foreign people speak Japanese. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
But for some of us, like, if I only say hello, how are you? Like, I don't know, konbanwa, genki, and they're like, oh, jozu. Sometimes for foreigners, it's a bad thing. Sometimes we don't like it, because we feel like, even though you're saying to us that our Japanese is good, sometimes we feel like you're just pretending. It's like, oh, your Japanese is very good, but you're just saying it because our Japanese is bad, but you just don't want to be rude. So sometimes for us, it's like, oh, I don't want them to. If you're like, oh, jozu desu ne, we're like, no, don't say this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, many Japanese say, oh, your Japanese is very good. Yeah, like that. So, yeah, it's maybe some foreigners don't are not feeling good. So, yeah, we have to judge properly.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
So for you, like, how do you study English? Like, what's the best way to study English, do you think?
I think making friends is the best. I think, yeah, making friends, and I think doing YouTube is best, I think.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So I interview many foreigners, and I speak English on my YouTube channel, and some people watch my video, and they correct my English. So it's a good practice for me.
But your English is fine. Like your English is fine.
Thank you. But it is difficult to make sentences rapidly in a conversation. Yeah.
I think for me as well, like for me sometimes, like for example, if we're in this conversation and I wanted to speak Japanese, like if like for example, 日本語を喋るとき、なんか言いたいことをいつも考えなきゃ。So それでちょっと難しい。Like if I have to think all the time, so then maybe I know what I want to say.
Yeah.
But because in the conversation I have to listen to the person and then response. Then I can't think in English, and then I have to translate in Japanese, and then I have to repeat to them, and then go through that process. So maybe it's the same for you.
Yeah. I understand your feeling. I struggle like that always. Yeah.
So so what's your what's your desire or your dream? Like what? Like for English, why do you want to study English?
Oh, yeah, I wanna expand my business to the world, and I'm a digital marketing consultant. So, so my clients are Japanese people now, but I wanna get foreign clients. So I have to improve my English skill. And I wanna work abroad, and I wanna make more foreign friends. I like talking to many people. I like communicating, and it is interesting to know their different cultures, and so I learn English.
I think I'm the same. Like before I was studying English, do you know the show Terrace House?
Show what? Excuse me.
Terrace House.
Terrace House.
Netflix のいわゆるTerrace House という。
Terrace House. Yeah. It's Japanese.
Terrace House.
Japanese show.
Yeah. So I watched Terrace House, and then like Terrace House 見た後で、日本語を勉強したい。それでlike I didn't know that you could study Japanese. I just thought if you want to study Japanese, you have to go to Japan. And I didn't know how to go to Japan. And I thought like the only people that study Japanese watch anime. But like 子供の時にアニメを見たけど、なんかthat's not the reason why I wanted to study Japanese. But then I found out that you can study online, and there's things like HelloTalk, and there's YouTubers that teach Japanese. So then after that, I decided to study. But I want to try to go on Terrace House. That's the truth.
Very interesting to know that. Yeah, because so you watched Terrace House in UK. And then you decided to go to Japan. It's very interesting. Usually, as you said, um, some people watch Japanese anime and then they decide to go to Japan, but
Yeah.
yeah, but you are unique.
But for me, I think like now,
Mm.
I think now 西野人は
Mm.
日本でアニメを見るけど、俺ためになんか I think anime came to the UK in 2003. I think the first anime I watched was Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
But like in 2003, anime was only in English.
Oh.
So I didn't know that it was Japanese. I didn't know Dragon Ball was Japanese. I didn't know anything to do with it. I thought it was American show.
I see.
So that's why I wasn't like I didn't want to learn Japanese after watching anime because I thought it was American shows. So only after watching Terrace House, the culture really interested me. Like it's just simple things like when you leave and enter the house, the okaeri, itakimasu, the when you're leaving a restaurant, goshito-sama deshita, things like that is really nice for me because we don't do this in the West. Like when we go out or when we come in the house, we don't say anything. We say hello, or we don't necessarily take off our shoes. And Japan just had like an interesting culture. So that was really attractive for me. Like I really like the kind of culture and to understand more of the culture.
Oh, well, yeah, very interesting to hear that.
Yeah, I think a lot of more people are starting to realize Japanese culture now instead of just anime. Like a lot of people, I think Terrace House is a big reason why, but a lot of people are more being able to see Japanese culture as kind of different from the West, but we're trying to understand and trying to learn more about the Japanese culture. And for us, it's really interesting.
I see. So
it's a bit strange. まだちょっと変だけど、俺のために楽しみ。I think Japanese culture.
Yeah. So Terrace House is like a human drama. So men and women live in same house, and they some of them are fall in love each other. Like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It is also popular, of course, in Japan. It's very unique, and even in Japan. So many people watch the TV show.
Maybe for Japanese people, this kind of show is like boring a little bit because you live in Japan and it's like it's your like this is your everyday life, like you live with people every day anyway. But for us, it was like they had arguments, but it wasn't like big fighting arguments. Like they wouldn't fight each other, or everybody will sit down and say, "Okay, we have this problem. Let's discuss together what the problem is and talk about it." But in Western culture, we don't do this at all. We argue and fight, and so it was very, very interesting to see that.
I see. Yeah.
And you'll sit down and eat together, and Japanese food always looks very delicious. So I think people like English food is very bad. People don't eat English food. English food is very bad.
I see. Is it common in England, like like a student share same house, like a to having a room share share
Mm.
mate. Is it common?
Yeah, we
Mm.
have like shared accommodation.
Mm.
It is very common. I think it's common most places.
Mm.
I think America sometimes they share a room,
Mm.
but in England we don't share like a room. We might share a house,
Mm.
and everybody has their own room.
Mm.
And the accommodation I was staying in Japan, we had a kitchen unit and we had like a living room, and then everybody had their own room. So it was similar to UK.
I see, I see. Yeah, actually, in Japan, maybe it's not so common in Japan, actually.
Mm, mm,
Maybe only students or, yeah, only young people. Yeah,
mm.
yeah, only some of them do share house. Yeah.
And the rest live with parents or family.
Yeah, live with parents or live by themselves, alone.
Uh, yeah, we some people live with parents or you do home share. I think a lot of people are like afraid to live by themselves, so they prefer to live with other people where it's more safe. But I feel like Japan was very safe. Well, for me, it felt very safe. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe people don't mind.
Yeah, Japan is very safe country, I think. Yeah.
Very safe and very delicious.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with Japan, which was a little weird, was that I felt like some people were very unhappy.
Yeah.
But they pretend that they're very happy and they pretend that everything's okay.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are very stressed and work hard and are unhappy this way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you are very familiar with Japan.
It kind of made me feel sad because after work, people just go to izakaya and they drink too much, and then they're on the floor sleeping. And I'm like, this person must be very unhappy. That they can't be happy because they don't want to go home. So they're obviously very unhappy. It made me sad though.
Yeah. Why do you know that?
I don't. I can just notice. Like I can just tell.
I see.
And I think in this generation, well, like my generation of Japanese kids, they're showing more that they're unhappy, and they're showing more that they're not like they don't want to stick to specific Japanese rules. Because sometimes some of the Japanese rules are a bit old. Some of them are not very, I don't know, modernized. They're a bit like old grandparents days of Japan.
Very traditional.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the children of my age are unhappy, and they now show, because we have Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, they're able to show that they're unhappy. So I think the whole world can now see that a lot of people in Japan are unhappy, as well as like there's a lot of suicide in Japan these days. There's been so many suicides of young people. So I think now the world can see like people in Japan are a little bit unhappy.
Yeah, right. Especially Japanese workers, employees. They are very stressful. They feel stress. They are unhappy. So there are many suicide. They work so hard. Actually, I was employee before, and I worked so hard. I worked overtime every day, until midnight. So it was so stressful, and so I quit the company. And I became a freelancer. Yeah.
Maybe because maybe you went to New York and you was able to see America and see how people live in America. Maybe that gave you motivation to know that, okay, I don't like, there's more things that I can do in the world. I don't just have to be a salaryman in the office doing overtime. Because I noticed that I can tell which people have never left Japan, and I know which people have been abroad or have lived abroad or studied abroad. You can always tell because the people that only live in Japan follow the rules so strictly, and there's rules, and the people that have lived other places, they're more free and open, and they know that, okay, these rules, some of them don't make sense, and I don't have to be stressed in life. I can go to other countries or do other things. So yeah, I think this. Well, from what I saw, it was like that in Japan. I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my trip to other countries motivated me to make my own business. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what do you do now? What is the freelance?
I'm a marketing consultant. So I teach Japanese clients about marketing. Yeah. What do you do now? So you are a student, and what do you study?
Yeah. What do I study?
Yeah.
I study literature and Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
good.
I mostly study like books and Japanese, but when I study Japanese, I don't really listen to the universities where you're studying because I don't feel like they teach. They don't teach the Japanese that we should be learning. They teach Japanese like from olden times. Like for example, they taught us how to phone your sensei's house and speak to them at home. And I'm like, you would never do that in today. You would write an email and send to them, or you would never visit their house. So sometimes it was kind of old Japanese that nobody will use.
I see.
So I try to teach myself things that I might use or things that I talk about every day. Or go on HelloTalk like I did today and try to practice speaking, those kinds of things. Because I think with languages, the best thing to do is learn the language that you like, learn what you speak about every day. So even if it's in Japanese, like what do I say in Japanese every single day? And then I learn those words first because you'll use that all the time. And then you can go on to learn other words. But I think some people read like textbook or they will learn from language teachers. But the language teacher is going to tell you, hello, how are you? How much is this? Where should I go? Where is this? But how many times do you ask someone, where is the bus station or where is the train station? You have a phone and you have a map on your phone. So you won't ask this question a lot in these days. So I think it's important to try to learn like what you will use every day is most important.
Yeah. It's more important. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. Nice cap.
My Pikachu is
Pikachu.
It's a little hot in UK.
It's hot now.
ところで今、日本に何時ですか？
今は3時ですね。
3時？
はい。It's midnight.
本当ね。午前3時。
はい。
Wow.
今日はちょっと遅くまで起きてます。I stayed up late tonight. Yeah.
Okay. I understand. I try to stay up late sometimes because that's when like Japanese people are awake when it's late in the UK, so I can practice Japanese.
I see.
So I don't see much.
Yeah, and so maybe you study Japanese every day. Good.
Every single day.
Oh.
Even if it's for like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe learn 5 new words. There's an application called, I don't know if you know the application called Memrise. It's just an application where you can learn vocabulary or grammar. So I might learn maybe 5 words a day. And then with that grammar, I'll go on HelloTalk and make conversation and try to use that grammar. If I get it wrong, then they correct me and I learn how to use it. But if I get it correct, then it's fine. And I also use Google Translate a lot. To make. I use it in the opposite way that normal people use it. So you might use it if you have an English sentence and you don't understand it, translate to Japanese.
I use it.
I don't do it that way. I create Japanese sentences into English, and if it makes sense in English, then I know that I made the correct sentence. But if I read the English and it doesn't make sense, then I know, okay, I got this Japanese sentence wrong. So you can use it. I use it opposite way. I use it like a Japanese.
Yeah, it's very smart. Yeah, it's good. You are very smart.
Yeah, but because I think for like in Japanese, you guys have like particles like ni, wa, or ka. I don't remember the others, but it has no meaning in English. So if I translate English into Japanese, sometimes Google Translate doesn't understand the particles, so it doesn't work properly. So if I do Japanese into English, because I understand the particles, so I know where to put ni or wa and change it and see if the English makes sense. So for me, it's easier to do that way. But yeah, I don't think I think the hardest thing about Japanese is kanji.
Yeah, even Japanese people cannot understand all kanji. Yeah,
I heard, but we have to, as students studying Japanese, we have to know kanji, and they make us write the kanji. But I'm like, it's 2020. I don't write kanji. You text. Everybody texts. So as long as I can read, if I can read it, I'm fine. But why do I have to write it? So I have problems with that. So I hate kanji.
Yeah, it's very complicated, and it's very difficult. We struggle too.
Yeah, we definitely struggle. But I think 日本語の綺麗さ、日本語の綺麗さが、本当大好き。Like, I think Japanese is a very beautiful language. For me, Japanese is like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like a puzzle. So there's a structure to the language, and you have to work out which words go into each section and how you can, like, for example, the word I use, kire, I can use it as kire na, or if I want the beauty, kire sa, or there's like different pieces to put to the word to create a different kind of structure. So for me, that's how I think of Japanese, as like a jigsaw puzzle, and I have to solve how to connect words and make new sentences.
I see. Singular and plural. It's very difficult. Yeah.
In English.
Yeah. And
I understand.
Yeah, and the the
Oh,
the, or
Mm.
an, such that,
Um,
yeah.
Okay, see, I'll help you with this right now. So for the THE, every time you use the, think of, so for example, when I said kire sa, the sa in after kire is the same as the in English. It's the same thing. So anytime you think in Japanese I have to use something sa, then you know you have to use the in English. So this is an easy way to remember it.
Oh.
Yeah, for Japanese and English. And with like the letter A, okay, that one is a little bit hard. It's a little bit difficult because Japanese really doesn't have A. But sometimes, I don't know, sometimes with English, you can, because in English there's not like specific rules. Like in Japanese, there's a specific rule. You have to say this exact sentence like this. And sometimes in English, you don't have to say it like that. We can understand, even if you don't say, even if you miss out a letter or you don't have a specific plural. You can add a letter at the beginning. Like, for example, we wanted to say, like, those people, you could just say the peoples. If you said that, we will understand. It's not perfect English, but we'll still understand what you mean. But I think with a lot of Japanese learning English, they want to be exactly, I need to say it perfectly, and I need to, otherwise they won't understand me. But we understand. We, like, we don't care if you miss words or if you're not perfect in English, because we're not perfect. We're really not perfect.
I see. Yeah, Japanese people worry about making mistakes so much, so they want to be perfect. Yeah, because of Japanese education system, I think. Yeah, the teachers want students not to make mistakes. So,
mistakes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think mistakes are the way that you learn.
Yeah.
It's the best way to learn. If you're perfect, like nobody's perfect. I have never met a Japanese person with perfect English. Never. So I don't know why people try. Like, I've never met one, and I've met the best speaking Japanese English speakers, and I've never met a perfect one. So there's no such thing. There's no perfect English speaker. Just as long as you're trying, then you're doing your best. As long as you do your best, then it's fine.
Yeah, right. And many Japanese people blame other Japanese people's English. Or you make mistake, your English is not correct, like that. Japanese people say so.
I see. Yeah, that's I understand actually. I think a lot of foreign countries do that. If the person doesn't speak English well, then they think that they're stupid and they don't know anything and they will never succeed. But that's not the case. I don't know why people think like that. Because even those people that have good English, when they come to the UK or they come to America, like, we don't treat them like native speakers.
I see.
Even if their English is perfect. So they're treated the same as somebody whose English is bad. We treat them the same. They're normal foreign speakers, but they speak English. We don't. I think that's why we're not like, oh, your English is so good, because for us it's just normal. You speak English, great. Like, we won't congratulate you. We're not gonna say your English is bad. Like, we're just happy we can communicate. We'd rather get to know the person than to congratulate you for speaking English, kind of thing. So maybe the culture is really different with Japan.
Yeah. The culture is very different, I think. Yeah, maybe. British or American people are very open to other countries' people, I think. My image is like that. Yeah, they are very friendly and very open to others.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Some people are not. I think England, we don't, in this country, we don't like to learn another language. For some reason, we hate learning other languages. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to learn Japanese. Because I didn't want to go to Japan and then everybody has to speak English with me. Because it's not fair. I'm in Japan. I should learn how to speak Japanese and speak the language of the country. But I think with like sometimes American people and British people, a lot of people go to Japan and they can't speak Japanese. They can say, "Oh, konnichiwa," and that's it. And they expect everybody to speak English, which is not fair. I don't think it's right that people have to speak English in their own country.
I see. Yeah. So, what will you do after graduation?
After graduation, I want to return to Japan.
Oh.
Maybe go to Georgia for 1 year to do masters. But when I was in Tokyo, I never went outside of Tokyo. So I want to travel around Japan, like Nagoya, Hokkaido. I want to go to Hiroshima, places like that I want to travel to. So I plan to go back and try to travel a bit. And maybe start a life in Japan, maybe. We'll see. Either that or go to Hawaii.
Oh, you go to Hawaii?
Maybe, because Hawaii has like Japanese community.
Yeah, many Japanese, yeah.
So I was thinking maybe I'll be comfortable in Hawaii because it's kind of America, but it's kind of Japan at the same time. So it's like both. So maybe I'll be more comfortable there. But I do want to really go back to Japan. I love Japan. I want to go back to karaoke.
Karaoke. So
now
you
I
sing
know Japanese songs.
Japanese
I want
song.
to go back.
Good.
Like when I was living in Japan, I didn't know any Japanese song. And I used to hear Pretender all the time. Higidan Pretender. I used to hear it like Shibuya and Shinjuku all the time. And then I came back to the UK and I learned about all of these songs. And now I want to go back so I can sing in karaoke with Japanese people. Well, maybe. Maybe after.
You upload many Japanese songs in your YouTube channel too. It's
Japanese music is very interesting. It's like sometimes the lyrics and what they speak about is sometimes it's very beautiful and like the culture is so different. So for example, Pretender is about a guy that fell in love with a girl that they've never spoken to each other, and he's saying goodbye. He doesn't want to pretend to be in love with her anymore. But in the UK, we would never sing about that because for us, it's a weird, strange song to sing about. So it's interesting that those kind of lyrics are sung in Japan. But I need to learn like old Japanese songs. I want to learn some old songs and see what they sound like.
I see. The lyrics are very different from English songs. I see.
And Japanese drama as well. I don't know if you've seen Kasefu no Mita.
Yeah.
Mita. It's very popular in Japan, right?
Yeah, very popular. I haven't watched it, but
really?
but many Japanese watch it.
Yeah, I saw it maybe 4 years ago now.
Yeah, several years ago. Yeah.
It was very interesting for me to see that kind of Japanese drama. It was very different from Western drama. So it was like I was very intrigued and interested to see what Japanese drama is like.
I see.
But yeah, living in Japan, it was safe. It was safe, but it was a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Like the hentai stuff was really strange.
Hentai.
The hentai, like the hentai manga, and like when I went to Akihabara, every shop would have hentai, and I'm like, in the West, we would never have this. Would never be allowed to have this stuff. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's good that people are allowed to be free and are allowed to, like, if that's what they want to read, then that's what they want to read. Like, people in the West probably read these stuff, but they're embarrassed to read it or to go and buy it. So they go secretive to buy it. But in Japan, it's like, yeah, they read hentai, they go to the store and go buy it.
Yeah, but even Japanese people secretly read that usually. Yeah, but some Japanese are very open to that. Yeah, they read and watch such things openly.
Yeah. I wouldn't watch it, but I think if you that's what you want to watch, then you should be free to watch it. Like, there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I think some foreigners say it's a very strange, and but there are many opinions in Japan. There are some criticism about such culture, like parents who have small kids. Such parents don't want such advertisement on the city. Yes, so there is some problems.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. That makes sense. But on the internet, the children can go on the internet and see it anyway. So, like, maybe a long time ago, like maybe like mukashi ni, like they wouldn't be able to access only in the store, but now they can just go on Google and find everything on Google. So, if they want to watch it, they will find a way.
Yeah. Parents cannot stop children watch such things on the internet. So some parents restrict their children's using smartphone.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I will stop recording.
Okay.
On my YouTube channel. So you have many videos on your YouTube channel, and you treat Japanese songs and cultures like that. So please check.
I make the videos in Japanese. So if you want to hear my bad Japanese, then retake the session.
Yeah, please check his YouTube channel. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.